Hello everybody, nice to meet you. Our list was of God Psalm chapter 78. Let's read it together. O my people, hear my teaching. Listen to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in farewell. I will utter hidden things from of all. What we have heard and known, what our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children. We will tell the next generation the faith of what this of the Lord, His power and the wonders He has done. He decreed the statutes for Jacob and established the law in Israel, which we commanded our forefathers to teach their children. So the next generation would know them, even the children yet to be born, and they in turn would tell their children. Then they would put their trust in God and would not forget His deeds, but would keep His commands. They would not be like their forefathers, stubborn and rebellious generations, whose hearts were not loyal to God, whose feet were not faithful to Him. The men of Ephraim, though armed with bows, turned back on the day of battle. They did not keep God's covenant and refused to live by His law. They forgot what He had done, the wonders He had shown them. He did miracles in the sight of their fathers in the land of Egypt, in the region of Jordan. He divided the sea and led them through. He made the water stand firm like a wall. They guided them with the clouds by day and with the light from the fire or light. They split the rocks in the desert and gave them water as abundant as the seas. He brought streams out of rocky crags and made the water flow down like rivers. But they continued to sin against Him, rebelling in the desert against the Most High. They willfully put God to the test by demanding the food they craved. They spoke against God, saying, "Can God spread the table in the desert?" When struck the rock, water gushed out and streams flowed abundantly. But can He also give us food? Can we supply the meat for these people? When the Lord heard them, He was very angry. His fire broke out against Jacob, and His wrath rose against Israel. For they did not believe in God or trust in His deliverance. Yet He gave a command to the skies above and opened the doors of the heavens. He rained down manna for the people to eat. He gave them to the grain of heaven. Men ate the bread of angels. He sent them all the food they could eat. He let loose the east wind from the heavens and let forth the sound of wind by His power. He rained wind down on them like dust, flying birds like sand on the seashore. He made them come down inside their camp, all around their tents. They ate till they had more than enough, for He had given them what they craved. But before they turned from the food they craved, even while it was still in their mouths, God's anger rose against them and put to death to strongest among them, cutting down the young men of Israel. In spite of all this, they kept on sinning. In spite of the wonders, they did not believe. So He ended their days in fertility and their eaters in terror. Whenever God slew them, they would seek him. They eagerly turned to him again. They remembered that God was their rock, that God Most High was their Redeemer. But then they would flatter him with their mouths, lying to him with their tongues. Their hearts were not loyal to him. They were not faithful to his covenant. Yet he was merciful, forgave their iniquities and did not destroy them. Time after time, restrained his anger and did not stir his fullness. He remembered that they were but flesh passing phrase that does not return. How often they rebelled against him in the desert and grieved him in the wasteland. Again and again they got to the test. They vexed the Holy One of Israel. They did not remember his power, the day he redeemed them from the oppressor. The day he displayed his miraculous signs in Egypt, his wonders in the region of Jordan. He turned their rivers to blood. They could not drink from their streams. He sent swarms of flies that devoured them and frogs that devastated them. He gave their crops the rest half their produce to the locust. He destroyed their vines with hail and their sycamore figs with sleet. He gave over their cattle to the hail, their livestock to bolts of lightning. He unleashed against him his hot anger, his wrath, indignation, and hostility of and of destroying angels. He prepared the fast for his anger. He did not spare them from death, but gave them over to the fray. He struck down all the firstborn of Egypt, the first fruits of manhood in the tents of Ham. But he broke his people out of the flock. He led them like sheep through the desert. He guided them safely, so they were unafraid, but the sea anguished their enemies. Thus he brought them to behold his whole land, to the hill country his right hand had taken. He drove our nations before him and allotted their lands to them as an inheritance. He settled the tribe of Israel in their homes. But they forgot to test and rebelled against the Most High. They did not keep his statutes. Like their fathers, they were disloyal and faithless, as unreliable as a forty bow. They angered him with their high praise. They aroused his jealousy with their idols. When God heard them, he was very angry. He rejected Israel completely. He abandoned the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tents he had set up among men. He sent the ark of his might into captivity, his splendor into the hands of the enemy. He gave his people over to the sword. He was very angry with his inheritance. Fire consumed their young men, and their maidens had no wedding songs. Their priests were put to the sword, and their widows could not weep. Then the Lord awake as from sleep, as a man wakes from the stupor of wine. He beats back his enemies. He put them to everlasting shame. Then rejected the tents of Joseph. He did not choose the tribe of Ephraim, but he chose the tribe of Judah, Mount Zion, which he loved. He built his sanctuary like the heights, like the earth that was established forever. He chose David his servant and took him from the sheep of hands. From tending the sheep, brought him to the shepherd of the people Jacob, of Israel his inheritance. And David shepherded them with integrity of heart, with skillful hands he led them. Psalm chapter 78 verses 1 through 72. Thank you.